This video is going to cover how to solve equations with variables on both sides. Let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, we want to solve for w. I'm going to draw my line down my equal sign. Now I have a problem that I didn't have on my previous type. On the two-step problems that I've been working on, I've had variables on one side, but if I look at this problem and I go to identify my variable, I see that they occur on both. Well, what do I do when they are on both sides? What I need to do is to collect them all on one side so that I can solve this equation like I've done the rest. So here's what I'm going to do. I am first going to identify whichever side has the larger amount of variables. That's the side I'm going to collect and make my variable side. So as I look at this says 2w and this says 4w. I'm going to make this my variable side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the other side, the side that I collect all my plain old numbers on. We call them constants. So what do? How do I move things across this equal sign? Remember, to move across the equal sign, or to take something off the scale, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other, and we use inverse operations. All right, so if this is the number side, we don't want any variables on that side, how do I get rid of 2w? Well, it's being added, and it is a positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off by subtracting. So I'm going to, because there were two w's on there, I'm going to take off two w's. Now remember, it's a scale. If I do it to one side, I'm going to do it to the other. Now I've got multiple things on this side over here. Where do you think I'm going to write it? Well, I want to match like terms. Because I'm subtracting w's, I want to place it underneath the w's. And I'm going to make a totaling bar. So here's what we have left over. 2w minus 2w zeroes out. I'm left with 5 equals 4w minus 2w is, what's 4 minus 2? Well, it's 2 w's. And I'm going to bring down the plus 13. Now we made up at the top, we said that this was our number side and this was our variable side. And if I look at it, I have the left side how I want it. It just has plain old numbers. But the right side is supposed to be my variable side. And what do I see on there? On that side, I see a plus 13. Well, that doesn't have a variable. That means I need to eliminate it. How do I get rid of that? Remember, we use inverse operations. Because I'm adding 13, how do I undo that? The opposite is to subtract 13. So underneath 13, I'm going to write a minus 13. And on the other side of the equation, remember, if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the opposite side of the equation. I'm going to minus 13. Now, don't fall into the trick of putting it underneath the 2w on this side. I only want to take away 13 once on each side. So I'm taking away 13. 5 minus 13, let's use a calculator on that. 5, to just make sure we're in the clear. 5 minus 13 is negative 8 equals 2w, and positive 13 and negative 13 zero out. So I'm left with negative 8 equals 2w. Well, how do I finish this up? Hey, well, notice I have multiplication going on. How do I undo multiplication? How do I get rid of that 2? Timesing by 2, I divide by 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 on the right, and I'm going to divide by 2 on the left. And negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And 2 divided by 2 cancels out. So I am left with w is equal to negative 4. Okay, let's practice that again. Okay, variables, where are they? They're on both sides. Okay, next question, which is the bigger variable? Well, 17 looks bigger to me than 14. So this is my variable side, and this is my number side. If this is my variable side, what do I not want on my variable side? Well, 17 has a variable, but 6 doesn't. 6 is positive. So to get rid of it, I am going to do the opposite of addition. I'm going to subtract it. So minus 6. Where should I minus 6 from? Okay, well, 6 is my number, so I'm going to make sure I minus 6 from the number on the other side. That cancels on the left, and I'm left with 17x equals, what's negative 15 minus 6? There's my calculator. Negative 15 minus 6 is negative 21. Bring that straight down, and bring down plus 14x. Well, remember, this was my variable side, but this was supposed to be my plain old number side. What doesn't belong? The thing that doesn't belong is the thing with the variable. So I need to get rid of plus 14x. How do I get rid of it? Since it's a positive, I'm going to subtract it. And I'm going to make a grand total of what's left over. 17 minus 14 is 3x. I'm going to bring down negative 21, and 14 and negative 14x cancel out. So I'm left with the equation 3x, which is 3 times x, remember that. So how do I undo multiplication? I'm going to use division. So dividing by 3, x is equal to negative 7. All right, this one's for you. Take a minute, try this one on your own, pause it, and when you're ready, go ahead and press play to check your answer. All right, let's do this together. Change colors to black. Decide which side you want to be your number side and which side is your variable side. I looked at 5W and 9W. 9's bigger, variable side, number side. Because this is my number side, I am going to get rid of the variable. Because it's positive, I need to subtract. All right, that zeroes out, and I'm left with on the left side 6 equals, what is 9 minus 5? That's 4. Don't forget to bring the W down, and don't forget to bring down the plus 30. I am going to then remember that this is my variable side. This was my number side. I like the left side. I don't like that there's a 30 on the variable side, so I'm going to get rid of it. How do we get rid of plus 30? We minus 30. So I'm going to minus 30 from the left, the right, and the left, and total it up. 6 minus 30 is negative 24, is equal to 4W. That zeroes out, and I don't have to bring anything else down. Okay, 4W, what does that mean? That means 4 multiplied by W. How do I undo multiplication? I use division. So divide by 4. Negative 4. 4. Divide by 4. And I end up with negative 6 equals W. All right. I only want to talk about one more type of problem, and I want you to try that. What do I do when there are negative variables? So this has negative 2W and this one has negative 7W. Well, which one's bigger? Remember a number line. Here's 0, here's 1, here's 2, here's negative 1, here's negative 2. Remember, the bigger you are, the further to the right. So 0 is bigger than negative 2. Okay, negative 7 is way down here. Which one of those is bigger? Negative 2 is, because it's further to the right. It's closer to 0. So remember, even if it's a big negative, that means it's a smaller number. So I'm going to make this my variable side and this my number side. What am I going to do? If this is my variable side, on the left, I need to get rid of what my plain old number, this plus 2. So I'm going to undo it by doing the opposite, minusing 2. Where do I minus it from? Remember, 2 is just a plain old number, so I'm going to minus it from the plain old number. Bring down what's left over. Negative 2W, that zeroes out, equals negative 7W plus 15. 17 minus 2 is 15. Continuing, if this is my variable side and this is my number side, how do I get rid of negative 7W? I don't want the variable. Since it's a negative, I need to do the opposite, and I'm going to add 7. I'm going to do both sides of the equation. In my calculator, type in -2 plus 7. I know that that's 5 equals what's left over, that zeroes out, and I get 15. 5 times x. I'm going to divide by x to undo it. By 5, pardon me. And I end up with w equals 3. Now, I always have the question, people say, Miss Johnson, but I didn't choose the same variable side as you and I still got the right answer. And here's an important piece of information you need to know. You're right. If you choose the opposite side for your variable than I do, you're still going to get the same answer. It doesn't matter which side you make which. The reason why I choose the bigger number to be my variable is so that I can cut down on as many negative numbers as I can. If I don't choose it, I'll have some negatives, but if negatives aren't a big deal, then we don't need to worry about it. This last one is a your turn type of problem. I want you to try this problem on your own, pause, and when you're ready to check your answer, press play. All right, let's go ahead and check your answer. I look at my two sides. I see that there's variables on both. There we go, and there we go. This is bigger. 4 is bigger than -3. So, number side, variable side. If this is my number side on the left, I don't want to keep this. I want to get rid of it. The opposite of minus or a -3 is 2 plus 3. So I'm going to add 3 to the left, and I'm going to add 3 to the right. That eliminates, and I'm left with 2 is equal to, what is 4 plus 3? 7. Y plus 30. I'm going to continue. If this is my variable side, I don't want that plus 30. I want to get rid of it. How do I get rid of a plus? I'm going to minus. I am left with 2 minus 30 is -28 equals 7y. How do I get rid of this multiplication? I divide. -28 divided by 7 is -4. So my final answer on that one is -4. If you have any questions, please reach out. Otherwise, go ahead and start your assignment on ALEKS.